Hey guys, this is Brian. Welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. I'm going to go ahead and review the Shaddoll cards after some analysis after they've been released over a week now, as far as the announcement is concerned. So, before we get into anything, I just want to go ahead and remind you guys, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel a lot, and also helps me stay motivated to make more content for you guys. So, here we have the first card, Shaddoll Agrista. As far as the stats are concerned, it's not really the greatest stats. It's actually more of a brick in the hand, but the effect does make up for it. So, a flip effect, it comes out in niche situations, but as far as this is concerned, we're mainly focusing on the graveyard effect, where the graveyard effect being, if it's sent to the grave by a card effect, you can fusion summon one Shaddoll fusion monster by banishing fusion materials from your hand, field, and graveyard. And it does lock you into Shaddoll. In a pure variant, this would be excellent. This would be a 3 of, as far as just being able to spam out more monsters. In the case of variants where you're playing hybrid decks, this at the most would be a 1 or a 2 of. You really don't want to see this card in your hand too often, but it can come out to be useful. So it is something to keep in mind, but again, this is mainly more of for a pure variant. I would say this would be, as far as a pure, this would be like an A+ if we were going to give it a grade. But for a hybrid variant, this would probably be a B, closer to a C, because of how it locks you. So, well, it's not really the greatest card if you're going to go ahead and mix it up with other archetypes. As far as the next Shaddoll, which is one of our new boss monsters, as Shaddoll Metrofield, and I believe that's how you pronounce it. One Shaddoll monster, one dark monster, one earth monster, so it works really well with Agrista, so that way it's easier to summon, so that it just takes 2 Shaddoll monsters and Agrista, and you would be able to make this. So it's like a towers where it's unaffected by your opponent's activated spell and trap effects, which means they can't Veiler it, they can't, I'm sorry, not they can't imperm it, they can't, and they also can't Dark Ruler this card, but the trade-off is, as well, it's not affected by monsters who have effects that are like Ash, Ogre, since it's not affected by monsters whose level is less than in that card. So it's great because it almost guarantees you're being able to use the effect, where it's like a Clifford Scout, where you can pay 800 to add 1 Shaddoll card or 1 Void or Spell or Trap card. It is a really great card for the pure variant. For hybrid variants, I would say this max would be played as a 1 of, or maybe a 2 of, depending on your build, but I would see this more as a 1 of. So, 2 things that stand out about this card, apart from the continuous effect on field, where, actually 3 things. 1, it has to be fusion summoned, so you can't just bring it back out. So you're most likely going to have to use it either as material and just never use it again for the rest of the game, or you would recycle it with App Cologne. But the once per turn, you can pay 800 to add a Shaddoll card or Void or Spell Trap app, where it's kind of like a bridge to link to have a build with Infernoid, but I really don't see it going that way. But as far as that, it's a soft once per turn, so it's once per copy. So if you do make 2 of this in 1 turn, you can use the effect multiple times. And the third effect, where you can bring something back out, I find it very useful because you can pretty much fusion this away to make something else and get a construct back, for example. And construct is not a once per turn to send end from deck to graveyard. That is just every time it's summoned. So you can use construct 2, 3, possibly even 4 times in 1 turn if you happen to have enough material for it. So I think that is a it's not the greatest card, but it is really good. But in a hybrid variant, I wouldn't say that this is something that is too viable. As far as that would be concerned, if it's in a hybrid variant, I would say this is closer to a C than anything, because it's going to be really hard to make. For the next card of Shaddoll support, I would say Void Release or Void Liberation. It is hands down the best card. I would give this a solid A+, as far as any variant of Shaddolls, because of the fact that you can and pretty much complete what you're missing. So if you have more monsters than spell and traps, you can just go ahead and take advantage this way. This is a +1, and no matter what effect you're using for Shaddolls, because of the fact that not only will you be adding in 2 and discarding 1, which would make it an equal, but the effect you're gaining from the discard, it would pretty much give you an extra card, so it's pretty much a +1 all around. And so this fixes the main problem with Shaddolls. Unlike Mesherfill, where you have to make it, this one is just a spell card, and you can use it at any point. I believe that the main thing that the reason they didn't give this a Shaddoll name is because if it's recurable, those bring back to hand, it'll be too broken. So I understand where that's coming from. But apart from that, that being my only complaint, and as far as me personally being a Shaddoll fanboy, but this card hands down fixes the biggest problem with Shaddoll, where you can actually have clunky hands because you don't have ways to either fuse or to even go ahead and have enough monsters. So this definitely fixes that problem in a major way. It banishes card artifact to add an Infernoid from deck or graveyard to your hand. I would see this effect being relevant if you're playing some kind of like Gale Dogra, Dogmatica, or even if you decide to go ahead and play the Infernoids itself. That's the only way this effect could be viable. But as far as the effect to search, this is excellent. I would say this is hands down the best card that was announced for Shaddoll. And I would say that this would be the most hyped card for the support. I would assume this would probably be a secret rare, because if they put this at any other rarity, it wouldn't make sense because of how impactful this card is. And lastly, for Shaddoll Wendicuff, it's a retrain of Wendigo using in the Shaddoll Wendy from the archetype. And so I'd say that this card is the best as far as versatility, because you can use it in not only pure strategies, but you can also use it in multiple or hybrid. And I think this would be the most versatile, all apart from Void Liberation or Void Release, to be splashed into any Shaddoll hybrid. And the best thing about this card, as you can see here, it has a quick effect where you can change any number of face-down monsters to face-up defense. So this does not depend on your opponent, and you can go ahead and use it on turn 0, and turn 1. But not only that, now you can change other face-up monsters to face-down defense or flip them on face-up. So it doesn't have to be a Shaddoll monster specifically. And I would say that this, paired up with Invoked Raijin, would be very effective as far as being able to go ahead and set up an extreme amount of presence. So I would say that maybe Instant Fusion may be a more viable thing in the future with Shaddolls because of that interaction, or even an Invoked variant, since that effect is so powerful that you can just start booking stuff up, not only with the Raijin, but you can also use Wendicuff to go ahead and do that as well, and even flip up your own stuff, or flip your own stuff face down so that you can gain their effects. And not only that, this if it's into the graveyard, it doesn't have the old limitation of the Shaddoll fusions where you can only get a spell or trap card. You can actually get back a monster as well. So this would not only allow you to go ahead and take advantage of any spell or trap cards that you have in your graveyard, most likely Shaddoll fusion, but you can also get a monster back in case you have an El Shaddoll face down that you didn't have enough materials to go into, and get that back to your hand. So all in all, I would say with the support that has been announced, that's going to be released in the TCGs most likely a few months in the future, I'd say that this is excellent support. The deck really needed it if it wanted to go ahead and come back to being viable again, and I highly anticipate that this is going to make Shaddoll's meta again. But let me know what you guys think. I really do thank you guys for your time, and I really hope you go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel and really helps out with me staying motivated to continue making more videos for you guys. But on that note, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya.